Hello everybody, so welcome to my video log of my fit pregnancy number 3, or at least hopefully full-term pregnancy number 3. At this point I am almost 12 weeks, so I'm almost out of the first trimester. Ideally I would have made a video maybe a week or two ago at least. I don't think I've made one since week 6, so there hasn't been that much that's changed though, actually. The first trimester is usually pretty much the same for the most part. Fatigue, sometimes nausea. But yeah, I've had some updates. I'm going to try to make this one a little bit faster. As of right now, my work knows that I'm pregnant. A lot of my members that take my fitness classes and so people I see on a regular basis pretty much all know that I'm pregnant at this point, but I have not announced anything on social media yet, on any platforms. I wanted to get out of the first trimester before I did that. And also I still need to order the kids the shirts that I want to take their photo in for my announcement. So that's the other reason. But hopefully in the next couple weeks, it'll be news to everybody. And at that point, I'll probably make all of these videos live, because as I'm filming them, I'm still keeping them secret. So I definitely talked about a lot of things in the first 2 video updates, and some of this is definitely going to repeat. One of that being fatigue. It did get a lot worse though between weeks like 8 to 11. It got a little bit better this past week. Still tired, but like I'm talking like on the couch tired. Like the kids are like, "Mommy, can you get up tired?" And I'm saying, "No, I can't get up." Like I pretty much was only functioning to go teach class and come home. So there was about a 3-week really rough spot. And my mom did come from the end of week 9 into week 10, which was a huge help. If she didn't come, I probably still would be 4 weeks behind on my laundry instead of 3 now. Well, no, I was 3 weeks behind. I would have been 4 now, but I'm good now that my mom was here. So that was huge help. So the fatigue was just really ridiculous. I don't remember it being this bad with my second pregnancy. My first pregnancy, I do remember being really tired, but I was working full time. I had a lot of strange hours with my jobs. I had more than one job for the first 20 weeks of pregnancy with Isaiah. So I feel like I can't really compare, but fatigue has been really, really, really rough. And along with that has been nausea on and off. I think at the last video I made, I was starting to get a little bit, but like it really did hit between weeks like 7, 8, 9. It lightened up a little bit in week 10, but then I've still had some like really bad days even into week 11. Like one night I was up at 4 a.m. and for 30 minutes I thought I was going to throw up in the bathroom, and I ended up just taking a shower after 30 minutes and drinking a lot of fluid and trying to go back to bed. So there's been a lot of randomness with nausea and also just not knowing what I wanted to eat, which I think really have been like that the whole pregnancy. Although I have had some strong salt cravings for things, but really in general, I don't really know what I want to eat, and I still have very little cravings for anything. If I do want to eat, usually though it is heavy and carby, but really carbs are the only thing that are sounding okay. Like I ate pancakes, Kodak pancakes tonight. I always say it wrong. So it's kind of been a lot of that. Like I make the kids French toast in the morning, and I might eat French toast, or I might eat pancakes, I might eat bagels. Meat is not my friend right now, as much as I love meat on a normal basis. Unless it's like in something and hiding. Mexican food is my worst enemy at the moment. For the last 3 weeks, I had it once a week, and it did not go over well. Like, destroyed stomach. So, as much as I love me some Mexican food and Tex-Mex, I don't think I'll be eating that for a while. I think I learned my lesson last weekend with the last bout. So I'm gonna give that a while. Um, I'm still struggling with my water intake, which I always struggle anyway, but I've been struggling significantly. I've resorted to watering down Gatorade. So I was cramping already. I was think a lot of the fatigue also might have been just being dehydrated. So I'm really struggling. 60 ounces a day right now is kind of good, which is terrible because I'm still teaching 6 days a week. And then I think it was between week 7 or 8 to 11 or something. I didn't even want any coffee, no coffee. I forced it down a couple times in between those weeks, just for energy purposes. But then it didn't go over well. My stomach was a wreck. So I just kind of reintroduced coffee almost every day, starting maybe today is Saturday, and I think maybe last Saturday. So somewhere between week 11 and 12, or week 11, I've been able to introduce coffee back a little bit. But it's still a little iffy. And it's also really, I'm being really sensitive to it. So I'm having really bad sensitivity, which I normally am not sensitive to caffeine at all. I normally can drink a latte at 8 o'clock at night and go to bed by 11 and not have any consequences. Right now, if I drink even anything at 5, 6 o'clock, any amount of caffeine, I'm having trouble going to bed at all. Restless nights. There's been nights where I was up at till 2 a.m. just because I could not fall asleep. My heart rate feels like it's elevated. And it could also be that my resting heart rate is also still elevated. Today I did get it down to 55, but that is still over 10 BPMs higher than my normal resting heart rate. So it could be that it's playing with my resting heart rate and I'm feeling that and I'm just super sensitive because I know my body. So I started thinking that maybe it's that and that's what's keeping me up. But I've learned specifically because I even made the mistake 2 nights ago where I drank maybe a half of espresso because I drank half of it earlier in the day and the other half of the latte later. It was only 1 shot. And I still couldn't fall asleep till 1:30, maybe almost 2. So yeah, I'm not gonna mess around with that anymore. I'm gonna follow that 3 p.m. rule and above for now, which stinks a little bit because I love my coffee. But yeah, heart rate issues. I am noticing right now in my workouts that my heart rate is not going higher than 170. 170 for me is not high. I can teach at 180, 185, still talking, still exerting force, even higher than that some days. And right now, 165 to 170 is pretty much my max, I'd say, feeling wise. Today, teaching cycling, I looked down at my watch several times where I felt like I was kind of at a max intensity and I was cueing a max intensity and I was about 168, which for me is low. Much lower than my normal, close to max. But it didn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like it. It feels high. So definitely major heart rate changes. And with that, my calorie expenditure is obviously going down. So typically in a 50-minute cycle class, one of my cycle classes, I'll burn anywhere from 450 to 500 calories in a 50-minute class, which for me and my body size is pretty good. But right now I'm more 350 to 380 in a 50-minute class. So it's almost dropped a whole 100 calories for my energy expenditure. Does that mean that I'm probably still burning the same amount of calories throughout the day because I'm pregnant? Yes. But my workouts in general, I'm not exerting as much energy just because my body's obviously trying to reserve it probably because I'm pregnant. So with that, my power output has dropped. I obviously, because I teach cycling classes, I pay attention to my power output quite often because I teach to power in cycle classes. Today, my power output was actually almost normal in terms of max, but my average was still much lower. So overall, power output definitely has definitely dropped. So I'm assuming, in other areas of exercise, my power output would obviously be dropped. My leg recovery is also tanked. And these are definitely things that I've seen in other pregnancies too. This is not different. No, I did not, because I made the last video at like week 6 or 7. So with my first pregnancy, probably my second, and now my third, at week 9, I was feeling pretty good on a Monday at like right at the beginning of week 9. And I was like, I think I'm going to try squatting today. I'm going to go stay light, but I think I feel pretty good. My body's not sore. I rested on Sunday. And I decided to do some back squats, and 80 pounds felt super light. Felt like definitely felt like easy warm up. 85 pounds for like 8 to 10 reps still felt super light. I was like, oh, I probably could go my normal 95 for warm up, for my third warm up set. Not realizing that was going to be my last set. Which, if I go back to my memory, at week 9, when I get to 95 pounds, even in my first pregnancy, I remember my legs cramped. So I got to this is the third or fourth set, and I picked up, put 95 on my back, did one squat. One. I went, as I lowered down in the eccentric, I felt my quads just cramp immediately. And the weight didn't feel heavy. My body was like, this is not happening. So literally I stood up and I had to rack it. And I remember this specifically had happened and it was front squatting with Isaiah. And I remember I was home in New Jersey too. It was like my home gym in New Jersey. And I remember front squatting that day. And it was the same weight, 95, and I couldn't walk for days. Same thing pretty much happened. I was literally sore for the entire week. So I didn't even really get to workload, but my legs they weren't having it. So one of the reasons that this probably is happening, physiologically, is that all of, my blood and energy is going to my midsection, and to then heavily load your lower body, to try to pump that blood, and oxygen and nutrients. Lifting heavy weight, your body, probably isn't going to want to do it. It's just going to be like, that's not something I can do right now. You're asking too much of me. So, it felt really, really easy, and I felt really, really good, but that's what a 10-pound difference will make when you try to still lift heavy. And I did do heavy deadlifts in my first and second pregnancy. Like, I was still deadlifting, well, not heavy, but like 95 pounds, like all the way through both pregnancies, and deadlifts feel fine. But something about that eccentric loaded movement heavily, it's not happening. And so even in the strength classes that I'm teaching, like, I'm noticing I've had to drop a little bit of weight just because my body's not recovering. It's staying too sore. So I've dropped a little bit of weight just because the classes that I teach are so high in muscular endurance too, that my body's not able to keep up in the class if I don't drop a little bit lower. So I haven't dropped a whole lot, but like, maybe 2 pounds. Like, if I use a 15-pound dumbbell, I'm using like a 12. Or if I normally use a 12, I might grab a 10 for things. And not everything, but just some things. So I am trying to go down a little bit. And because of the fatigue, and then also that day in the weight room, 3 weeks ago, I have not done much strength training on my own. I teach 10 classes a week. I've still kept them up so far, ranging from kickboxing, cycling, couple interval training type classes, barbell strength, which is basically a total body strength class, an upper body strength class, and a core class. So which at this point, core, I pretty much did coach that one this past week, pretty much all the way through. But for the most part, it's pretty much 9 classes that I am doing full for the most part. I do walk around, talk a little bit throughout classes and stuff, but I'm still doing a majority. But to be smart and get through this first trimester, I am trying to stay out of doing my own extra right now. I'm hoping I'll be able to get into the weight room like 1 to 2 times a week though, on my own, even into the second trimester though, and just lift a little bit. A couple times that I did get in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I stayed with the same weights in the weight room, but I just took longer recoveries. So instead of dropping weight and keeping the same recovery times, I'm going heavier and just taking a longer break. Because really in my group fitness classes, like, you know, they're very formatted and scheduled, and you know, there's no room for me to be like, all right, everybody, we're gonna go really heavy today and take longer breaks. It's not really how anything's formatted. So to counteract the fact that I'm not really able to go heavier in my group fitness classes, I'd like to go a little bit heavier and keep a little bit heavier weight in the weight room and just take longer breaks, which is normal at this point. I did that with my first 2 pregnancies too. I lifted at least 3 days a week with my second pregnancy, but I'd say I'd probably say more than that with my first, because I wasn't working and teaching past 20 weeks. So I think I actually lifted a good 4 days a week and did like HIIT cardio type workouts. So yes, I am still doing plyometric movements. I'm still jumping. I'm still leaping. I'm still doing like squat jump type movements, jumping jacks, kickboxing. So I'm still doing plyometric loaded jumping movements, which I guess, you know, definitely could scare a few people. I feel totally fine doing them. So far I haven't had many issues. I've just had to, you know, so once in a while, right now a little bit more, I stop a little bit more and cue a little bit more to give myself maybe that extra like 2 seconds that I might need a little bit more recovery for. I'm still gonna make this long video. One of the other things that I've noticed, so I can try to move faster, is my ligaments are definitely loosening up. And obviously this is due to relaxin, which is a hormone that it goes through the body when you're pregnant to basically prep your pelvic region for delivery, childbirth. But doesn't spot. It's not like a spot hormone where it's just going to go to your pelvic region. No, it goes everywhere. That's why they do tell you to be careful when you stretch when you're pregnant, because you could overstretch and injure yourself. So I am noticing that I'm super flexible right now. And even, you know, I do notice that when I'm pregnant, like I dance. I'm a dancer in general, but like my hips move a lot easier. Like salsa and Zumba actually seems easier when you're pregnant. You're not stiff. So that's a fun thing to notice. I don't know that how many people actually pay attention to that, but that is like a real thing. My hair, skin, and nails suck. I am probably one of the worst people with taking vitamins. I'm still taking a prenatal. Some days I'm taking, you know, really good ones, and other days I just take the gummies because I'm just not feeling it, stomach-wise. But hopefully my nails will start to get better. My face has been pretty terrible. But I'm also going to attribute that to probably my diet, because I'm eating a lot of dairy. Dairy is an inflammatory food, but dairy and carbs say I'm good right now. But that's probably why my skin also sucks. I definitely don't feel like I'm glowing at this point. Feeling pretty dull and dry. I mean, my hair's not bad. I guess my hair's actually pretty thick already. But the nails and skin are struggling. I didn't talk about the heart rate reactions, I don't think, but one of the things with the heart rate too is my warm-up does take longer right now. So I'm noticing that, you know, normally my group fitness, and I compare it to group fitness right now, but normally group fitness warm-ups anywhere from usually 5 to 8 minutes, and by the end of the 8 minutes I'm finally feeling like I'm warmed up and that my heart rate's catching up. So that's, for me, that's a long time. You know, I can normally get warmed up in like 3 to 5 minutes and heart rate's already ready, and you know, blood's flowing, body temperature's rising, but it's taking me a good 8 minutes right now. Sometimes like I'm in like 10 minutes in my class and my body's finally like, okay, my heart rate's leveling off. I'm breathing without like trying to catch up to it. So that is definitely something that's happening with my heart rate. So definitely a little bit, a little different there. So otherwise, I'd say everything else is pretty normal. My baby bump is out. And I did go to a doctor's appointment at 10 weeks. Baby was moving. Girl vibes only. I'm only kidding. It's okay if I have another boy. I don't even want to panic, but I'll be okay. But, be nice to have some more girls in this house besides me. So, and along with like showing, I'm also super sensitive right now to foods, like I said. So I'm bloating really easy. So like there are days where I look super pregnant, and then there's days where I'm like, oh, I just kind of look like I just got pregnant. So it's been really like crazy. Like some days I go in to teach and I feel like I look huge. And other days I go to teach, I feel like I'm like, oh, I probably could hide this again today. So it's a little bit weird. But also the end of the day right now. This is 10:45 at night. I've already eaten all my meals today, obviously. So yeah, just pretty good bump though for being 12 weeks, but that's what happens in your third pregnancy, so the doctor said. So and I do have stretch marks actually more from my second pregnancy than my first, which is crazy since my first pregnancy I was way bigger. But that stretch out, I guess. So my stretch marks are definitely already showing. But I haven't gained that much weight. I've only gained a couple pounds. Probably because I'm losing muscle mass. So, yeah, I think that's about it for my update today, which is long enough. So if you guys have any questions about anything, you can always just reach out and ask. All right. Bye.